Hi everyone, I'm Vicki Murphy. I'm a Jira Align specialist with Valiantys, which is a Platinum Solutions partner with Atlassian. In this video, I'll be breaking down the updates to Jira Align with the release of version 11.2. This version was released to Jira Align instances on the continuous release track, typically your test or dev environment if you have one, on August 2nd, 2024, and it will be released to all other instances on August 16th, 2024. Let's go ahead and jump into Jira Align and take a look at some of these updates. Starting out in our feature backlog, Atlassian has added the ability to automatically hide completed features in the backlog view. Previously, this could only be done by end users applying a filter to the backlog, or many customers opted to move the completed features to the bottom of the backlog for easier visibility. Now, Atlassian has included a system setting that admins can enable to automatically hide completed features. Let's start by talking about how this will impact end users, and then we'll talk about how we can enable this setting. First, to align around what we mean by an accepted feature, it is a feature in the accepted state or the process step mapped to that state. This currently does only apply to the feature backlog. No other work item backlogs will be impacted at this time. And this will hide the features from the backlog list and Kanban column views. In the state and process flow view, accepted features will continue to be visible in the appropriate column. Once applied, users will have no ability to display accepted features in the list or column view. They will not be able to search for the feature, and they will not be able to apply a filter to only display accepted features either. Additionally, completed features will remain visible in other modules, including the feature the feature module and the roadmap module. This does not remove a completed feature from the backlog. It does simply hide it from the list and column views, meaning that the feature will maintain its rank. Atlassian states that this is to provide consistency across Jira Align, since we will still see those completed features in other modules like the roadmap. Atlassian also mentioned if there are two items that share the same rank, the one that is accepted will have the higher rank than the other. Enabling this setting will not impact the actual or estimated workload calculations across Jira Align. And finally, if you are in an existing Jira Align instance, this setting will be disabled by default. You can choose to enable it, which I'll cover in just a moment. If you get a new instance of Jira Align after this version is released, it will be enabled by default. Now that we understand some of the end user impact, let's go ahead and look at how we can update this setting. Admins can navigate to the admin settings. From here, we'll go to the platform menu, and we'll go to the portfolio tab. This setting can be enabled for the entire system, meaning it will impact all portfolios, or you can do this on a portfolio by portfolio basis, and I will show you both. To update this system-wide, on the portfolio tab, we will go to the accepted items backlog setting, and we'll click manage here. When we update this setting, we have two different options. First, for all program increments. This means that when users have no PI selected in the left-hand context as they are viewing the backlog. Here we can choose to hide or not hide features in that scenario. Next, we have selected program increments, meaning they have selected one or more PIs in that context menu. Once you make your change, you can press apply. If you prefer to go portfolio by portfolio, don't update that setting right there. Instead, go to portfolio specific configuration at the bottom. Choose your specific portfolio. And at the bottom of this menu, we will have that exact same setting with the exact same options. You can see I've already updated the selected program increments option to hide those accepted features. And once you're done, you can press Save Settings. Right, let's go ahead and I'm going to go back to my backlog and just walk through what an end user will see now. First, to help with the rollout and communication around this setting, whenever you enable to hide accepted features for a portfolio or system-wide, users will see this notice in the backlog. This is going to let them know that in the column and the list view, those accepted features are hidden, but they can still view them in the state and process flow views. Users can choose to dismiss this or read more about it here. Now that I've hidden those features, I know that I have a feature with the ID 5393 that is accepted. I just want to showcase that I am here in the list view, and if I search for feature 5393 at the top, it is not going to display anything for me. So again, this is fully hidden from this view. Additionally, I can go into apply filters here. And if I look at the state, it's going to give me a warning that I can't view accepted features, but even if I add this in, it is still not going to showcase anything for me. Right. Let's continue with our other updates. So an update to how we can export work items in Jira Align. When we export work items, if we are trying to export more than 500, we are going to begin to see a warning at the top of that export wizard, letting us know we should try to export 500 or less work items. Atlassian stated in the release notes that after digging into some reports of export requests timing out or providing incomplete files, they determined that 500 work items is a safe maximum to export. They also stated that they are going to continue to improve the export performance in the future. We also have some updates to our tooltips here in the grid view. Tooltips are the little pop-ups that you see whenever you hover over a work item in the various visualizations of Jira Align. Here in the grid view, now if you hover over a work item, that pop-up is going to show you the full work item name. Previously, this only showed us the ID, and this is going to be really helpful if you have really long work item names and you want to also display several columns like you see in my grid here, and that name is getting truncated and cut off. Additionally, let me move to the roadmap view. In the roadmap, we also have a slight update to our tooltips. Now, whenever we hover over a work item, it is going to show us that full work item name. Again, very helpful if you have really long work item names. And also the look and feel of this tooltip has been slightly updated. Our last update in Jira Align before switching to our slides is to the Risk Roam report. Over the last several releases, Atlassian announced their new UI for the Risk Roam report. And with this release, the new UI is fully rolled out and that legacy UI is fully deprecated. So all users across all instances will see this new view whenever they access the Roam report. Moving into the slides for the last few updates. First, some future updates to be aware of, starting with the removal of the portfolio ask field. Atlassian has announced that they will be removing this field from themes, epics, capabilities, and features in Jira Align in the future. They stated in the release notes that they do not have a specific date for removing the field in production instances, but the field will remain until at least version 11.6, which is currently planned to release November 22nd of 2024, when they will deploy this change to test environments. There will be another notice when they have confirmed the exact version for removal in production environments, but they are providing this information now so you can begin to make a plan for this change. In their announcement on this topic, Atlassian provided some more details, first stating that this change is a part of their broader effort to streamline the tool and to update the roadmap module. Atlassian is really looking to further leverage the new milestone functionality in visualizations like the roadmap, and this is a push towards that. As a part of this removal, Atlassian plans to migrate all the portfolio ask dates currently present on work items into milestones. If you have the portfolio ask date enabled on any of the items and there is a date, a new milestone will be added to that work item with the following information. The name will be portfolio ask. The description of the milestone will be migrated by Jira. There will be no category selection. The state will vary depending on the state of the work item itself. If this is a completed or accepted work item, the state of the milestone will also be completed. If the work item is in any other state, the milestone will be set to on track. There will be no start date, and the due date will be the portfolio ask date. The field will also be removed from Enterprise Insights when this change takes place. Atlassian recommends updating any of your queries or custom reports that use the portfolio ask date from Enterprise Insights over the next couple of months. If you have questions about this upcoming change, do reach out to your support partner, your advisory services representative if you have one, or submit a support ticket to Atlassian with the title Portfolio Ask Migration. Another announcement for a future update, the value engineering functionality and corresponding report, as you can see on the screen here, in the work in process by step report will be marked as end of support with the release of version 11.5, currently scheduled for October 2024. What this means is that while the functionality will still be present in Jira Align instances, no new defects or feature requests will be accepted for these modules, and Atlassian will begin preparing to fully remove this functionality in the future. They did state that we will have at least 30 days notice before the full removal. Atlassian continues to improve their overall performance of Jira Align. In this release, Atlassian announced a new early access program, or EAP, for the program board performance improvements. Enrolling in the EAP will give you the ability to test these improvements and provide feedback directly to Atlassian. These improvements will be centered around the loading time and responsiveness of the program board module. To enroll in the EAP, you can reach out to your advisory services rep if you have one, your support partner, or you can submit a support ticket with the title Program Board EAP directly to Atlassian. Additionally, the backlog Kanban column view of the feature backlog now has pagination. Previously, all work items for the specified context would load, often causing lengthy load times. Now the page will display the first 100 features, and it will load more as you scroll. Atlassian says they see improved load times by 20 to 60% with this update. Moving into the API, we have several API updates this release. First, the ability to customize the column settings on the work item grid pages via the API is now available. Super admins can now specify the fields that display as default column selections on the grid pages for themes, epics, capabilities, and features. These will be the columns that will be shown whenever someone first logs into Jira Align, or if they press the restore defaults on the column shown menu in these grids. The endpoints available are listed on the slide here, and Atlassian calls out that the intent behind this functionality is to really help organizations onboard users faster and improve collaboration in the tool. There is an announcement on this functionality with a bit more detail. If you want to view that, it is linked in the release notes. The milestone category type has been added to the platform drop-down endpoint, allowing you to create, edit, and delete category values for work item milestones. And lastly, as a part of Atlassian's work to refactor the Jira Align API to be more performant, the get results will now display the self property, providing more consistency. Collections in an expanded get will include the self property if the entity has a public get endpoint. The self property will also display on get by ID commands for cost centers, work codes, anchor sprints, domains, and divisions, which previously they did not. And lastly, Atlassian calls out that any results prior to this change are not affected, so backwards compatibility will continue to work as expected. That sums up the updates to Jira Align with the release of version 11.2. If you want to dig deeper into any of these updates or view any of the defects that were fixed in this release, the release notes are linked for you in the description. Thank you very much for watching.